Do you guys remember this commercial? It was released near the launch of the PS4 and Xbox One generation. Back then, Xbox had a shitty new rule where you couldn't share your physical games with friends anymore. Used games would just not function for someone else. And this is what Sony retaliated with.
This is how you share your games on PS4.
Thanks.
PlayStation. This was a major reason why PlayStation won that generation. First impressions matter, and this showed the fans that the PS4 was where the gamers would thrive. Today though, they announced probably the worst thing they ever could. Physical media is dead after January 2028. This video isn't just about the discs not being manufactured anymore, by the way. The issue is that this was the final nail in the coffin for me. Now, I'm saying this as someone who loves PlayStation. The PS4 was the first system I actually owned. I played PS2 games as a kid, I own a PS Vita that my cousin from Europe gave me, and when I saw that the Switch 2 and Xbox were getting worse with physical games, like with the game keycards, the PS5 became the most appealing option for me. Let's look at where PlayStation is right now. They're the default console for everyone. The PS5 is priced pretty fairly for what it provides. Even though there's been increases to both the console and also PS Plus, every company wants their games on PlayStation though. So let's talk about the future with the PS6. First of all, this thing isn't going to be cheap. It'll almost certainly be close to $1,000 US. If you're in another country like Canada, such as myself, it'll be significantly worse. This is already a huge obstacle for Sony to beat, but I had faith in them. There's still a lot of things they can do to win the consumers over. They still have their exclusive games that everyone loves, they still have the convenience factor that consoles bring, and they still have a reason to exist. A huge community of people buy games on PlayStation because you can get them physically. You get to own what you buy. And if there's a game that gets delisted, like removed from the PlayStation Store, you can still get them physically. I have these two games that both got delisted. I can still play them even if you can't buy them anymore. And so can everyone else if they buy them secondhand or used. But all three of those benefits I mentioned are fucked. First, if the PS6 costs that much, that means Sony is gonna have to make their games cross-generation. Their new games will still have to be on PS5 if they want these games to sell well, because the PS6 won't have enough owners for a long time. This was already a problem with the PS5 and it's only gonna get worse with the PS6. Second thing, convenience. This will only take you so far. If the PS6 costs that much, has no real exclusive to it, and is all digital, then what the fuck is the point of it? You can already keep playing on your PS5, and if you want a system that runs games better, a PC will do so much more than the PS6 even can. And it's not like we're still in the era of PC being hard for people to understand anymore. Millions of people play Fortnite and Valorant on PC every single day. I'm sure they'll figure out how to purchase a game on Steam. The PS6 won't even be a budget option anymore because it costs close to what a PC does. Do you think someone who only plays FIFA or Call of Duty, the casual gamers, do you think they're gonna blindly fork over $1,000 for that convenience in today's economy, or would they rather just play the games on PC? Now I hate it when someone says just play on PC, because I don't like playing games on PC. It's not what I prefer. I'm a console guy at heart. But if the console's doing everything the same way as the PC, but just worse, then I'd be a dumbass to stick to the console. Consoles have so many restrictions. You have to pay monthly to play online multiplayer, you don't get to back up your digital games either unless you mod your console, which isn't always easy. The only benefit consoles have now is that their games could be more optimized than PC, but that's not enough anymore. What would really help sell the console for someone like me is if they cater to the people who give a shit. The nerds like me who love video games and preserving them so much to the point where I'd stick with console. But not only is that just gone now, not just for first party games, but literally every game, since you need to work with Sony to make these physical games. And on top of that, they just proved to you multiple times this week how an all digital future is terrible. Sony recently took away over 500 movies that people owned on PlayStation because they lost the license for them. Does this mean you got a refund? Of course not. You basically just donated money to PlayStation because the thing you bought is gone. This has happened multiple times before, by the way. And also in the same post they made about announcing the physical games are gone, they also announced the death of the PS3 and Vita online stores. This was obviously expected. They even tried to do this like 5 years ago. But that just shows you that these digital games won't always be there. They can just disappear one day if the store shuts down. Hundreds of digital only games are going to be completely gone because of this. I want to say that this was always expected, and all digital future was inevitable. But Sony doing it now, when they already have the most useless fucking console ready to be released soon, and also with the way the industry is right now, are they serious? And I really want to give them another chance. These guys have given me so much over the years, but there really is no point anymore. From now on till January 2028, basically every game I'm gonna buy will be physical. Thank God Final Fantasy Odyssey is coming out before then, and Wolverine. Enjoy physical games while you all still have it. Maybe if there's enough pushback, Sony would release a disc drive to plug into the PS6 for physical games to continue, or even just backwards compatibility. But man, I'm done with these guys. I hope the PS6 fails horrendously, and I hope it crashes and burns because they deserve it based on all their decisions recently. I usually let a lot of their shitty issues pass, having almost no games cause long dev cycles exist, even their urge for their live service bullshit, the rise in prices cause of RAM shortages too, but my sympathy can only go so far. If you defend Sony for killing physical games, you're a fucking moron. This doesn't benefit anyone, and yet I still see people sucking Sony's dick and agreeing. At best it's something that doesn't affect you, but why remove the option? You don't get used games at lower prices anymore. Something to put on your shelf that isn't just a fucking code in the box. You don't get to preserve your games anymore. Hell, the games that are physical will probably jump up in price if they get delisted, or the entire store is gone like with the PS3 and Vita. They want you to own nothing and be happy. So if I have to, I'd rather do it on a platform that gives a shit about their consumers, or one that has multiple options and with multiple marketplaces. One where you can still play games when they get delisted, where preservation still exists. I don't like making negative videos, and everything I said comes from a place of love for games. This is what I'm passionate about, so when I see these stupid ass decisions that didn't need to happen, or stupid ass responses like physical media has been dead for years with music and DVDs, I can't just not say anything. There's a huge difference between those two. Those can so easily be preserved and accessed, and physical media is still made for those. You can still buy Blu-rays for movies on Amazon whenever you want, because these companies that make movies know that passionate people will still buy physical media. However, physical games are very dependent on console manufacturers, and with this decision, so many games will never get physical releases. Kingdom Hearts 4 might not if it takes too long. Spider-Man 3 won't have a physical to complete the trilogy if you wanted to. All those options are completely gone. PlayStation could have taken advantage of physical media dying over time. They could have easily become the home for those who still care, but they succumbed to the darkness, I suppose, to greed. Say what you want about Nintendo, but at least you get something that you can resell and physically hold with the game keycards. Now it's not even an option for what's been my definitive platform all these years. Fuck you, Sony.